They're filing into the Breslin Center in East Lansing for some Sunday night hoops. Michigan State, they haven't played in 8 days coming off finals. Kyle Arns was big in their last win at Florida on December 8th. And tonight, they welcome in Green Bay out of the Horizon League. And that man, Sandy Cohen, who leads them in points, rebounds, and assists. As the Phoenix come in trying to get the upset win. They've never won here. Basketball on BTN presented by Jeep. Green Bay 6-5, and the 9th-ranked Michigan State Spartans coming in at 8-2. Let's take a look at the Jeep starting lineups. Here they are. So Sandy Cohen set as the leader for Green Bay. A lot of different players that can fill it up for the Michigan State Spartans. But Andy Katz, the guy that you are talking about on the side of Green Bay, is indeed Sandy Cohen.
That's right. Link Turner, the head coach of the Phoenix, says that first of all, he's got to do a little bit of everything for us. We saw that when he had 20 and 10 in their loss to Creighton in their last outing. But he also has to facilitate, get shots for everyone else. As for the Spartans, Josh Langford. As Tom Izzo and I were talking in his office this afternoon, Langford is that kind of guy, that Spartan we've seen time and time again during Izzo's tenure, that has elevated himself in every facet of the game. He is now the leader of this team with Cassius Winston and really has become a guy they can count on.
Yeah, he's averaging more than 5 points a game than he did a year ago. And you see the series history. Green Bay has never defeated Michigan State. Last time these two tangled, 2007, here at the Breslin Center. And 11 years later, we're ready to do it again. Green Bay and Michigan State, both teams, as I said, coming off their final week, their finals week. So now it is all about basketball.
That's right. No I-zone today, or I-zone, excuse me, because the students have gone home for Christmas break as final exams just concluded. But I think the locals will certainly create some atmosphere.
And speaking of a good start and some atmosphere, how about an alley-oop from Winston to Langford?
The two anchors along with Nick Ward.
Those are the guys, those three all averaging about 15 points a game to lead the way for Tom Izzo. And that man has stepped up this year. Kenny Goins with a nice block.
You can see right off the bat, Winston looking for Langford.
A great start for Tom Izzo and company, and now Green Bay, they like to get up and down. They average 85 points a game. They like to force the tempo. Late in the shot clock, there's a three from Jaquan McLeod, and all five on the floor will shoot it.
Well, that's what Green Bay wants to do. They want to take a shot as quick as possible, but as Link was telling me, they don't want to take a bad shot, so they may end up sometimes pull it out a little bit more.
And with their tempo, they do force a lot of turnovers. 17 but they also have some holes in their defense, as Matt McQuaid showcases there.
Yeah, they had 18 against the Blue Jays, so they give it back a lot, too.
Pulling up, 15-footer, there's Sandy Cohen. So he leads them in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Everything. You're going to see a lot of number one in green tonight.
Yeah, against Creighton, he had 2 assists and 6 turnovers. That's the number that has to come down if the Phoenix want to have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, and if they want to make some noise this year in the Horizon League, a league in which they were picked to finish 5th in the preseason. Michigan State, of course, coming off that win at Florida, but that was back on December 8th. Here's Langford knifing inside. Boy, he got hit, fell down, no foul call. And now late in the shot clock, the three is short from McQuaid, but an offensive rebound by Goins.
And McQuaid will have that green light. He told me this afternoon he's feeling as well as he's felt in a long time after he had to sit out and watch Rutgers in Louisville while he was rehabbing.
They had the thigh injury. Stepping through, laying it up and in. P.J. Pipes with a bucket. And now in transition, Langford to the aforementioned McQuaid. Got it.
You know, number one of the defensive assignments for Michigan State was stop transition. So on one side, they're scoring on transition, but Tom's not going to be happy unless they're stopping him on the other end.
Great, strong rebound by Hemphill off the miss. He ripped that right away from Goins.
Well, and that's what Link told me was going to be their major concern was rebounding. That's a great sign for them to be able to get that.
We're going the other way. So you can see Michigan State trying to get to the basket quickly. That time it backfires.
Here's McQuaid, wide open. I mean, the Phoenix clearly can't leave him completely open like that and have any kind of chance.
You bring up a good point, though, with the rebounding. That'll be interesting to track because Michigan State, one of the best in the country in that department. And we figure it will be a struggle for Green Bay, but as you said, not early. Good block there by Xavier Tillman.
Yeah, the physicality of the Spartans, that's where they have a huge advantage against the Phoenix.
And Michigan State just seems a little rushed right now on offense.
Not surprising. You know, there's the physicality of Tillman to just sort of basically snatch that ball away and get out on the break.
He came into the game just a moment ago for Kenny Goins. First sub for either side. So back-to-back turnovers for Michigan State. Now the Phoenix with a 15-footer from number 15, Manny Patterson. They're not intimidated early.
I mean, Patterson is their biggest player inside. You're going to see him bang. He's got to do that. But he can hit that shot.
Green Bay comfortable in the Breslin Center. 5 of 7 early. Michigan State 3 of 7. Here's Ward going to work. Yes.
Such a beast inside. I don't care if it's Horizon League, Big Ten. A lot of schools, the rest of the schedule, are going to have a hard time keeping him off the back.
And you said that Patterson is big for Green Bay, and he is, but you would think that Nick Ward is a good matchup inside here tonight.
And look, he goes right downside to anchor inside.
And Tillman, that creates the space for him to go to the rim, bucket, and a foul.
I mean, it almost looked like Nick Ward was going to be a bit of a decoy here, but Winston sees Tillman as the trailer and then finishes. You know, Xavier Tillman, Izzo really thinks he could be one of the more improved players, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country. He's dropped something like 30 pounds. This is a guy that played football. You can tell he's got great size for that and really has a real high basketball IQ. They look at him as sort of a poor man's Draymond Green, maybe the early Draymond Green, not the Warriors Draymond Green.
But he's still got some room to grow, Tillman,
yes.
Just a sophomore.
But when we draw the comparisons, don't think, everyone at home, that means those players today in the NBA.
Right.
It's more early college Draymond Green.
Either way, some high praise for Tillman, who certainly is much improved. He was great against Florida, 14-9. Winston coming in, stripping it. But eventually Cohen gets it. You got to watch the shot clock here. It's at 2 seconds. And a 30 goes in for P.J. Pipes. I don't know that that's how they drew it up. Everything right now falling for Green Bay.
That was kind of like Rob Finney from Indiana.
Oh, yesterday in their win over Butler. Xavier Tillman will be at the line when we get back, but just a desperation heave here at the end of the shot clock. Green Bay, they're not intimidated early in East Lansing. With this bucket, they've got the lead. Only a little over 4 gone by, but Michigan State in a tussle early with Green Bay. 14-12 is the score at the Breslin Center. Brandon Gaudin with Andy Katz. So, yeah, 8 days off for Michigan State. So maybe a little rusty, but with the schedule that they had before the finals, they earned that break.
But this is the norm under Tom Izzo. 6 games in 16 days. Now you got 3 in 18, almost 3 weeks. This schedule has been put together really a year or 2 in advance. I mean, some of those games are out of their control. Tournaments, ACC Big Ten Challenge, this Florida home and home, and then, of course, now we have the Big Ten season that starts in early December. And as Tom was telling me earlier this afternoon, what happens is some of the freshmen, they can't catch up when the schedule is so rigid. You're barely practicing. You're going through walkthroughs, and some of the freshmen get a little left behind. And so now is the time where they're going to practice a lot this week and next week, where he thinks he'll be able to develop that bench even more, especially those younger guys.
Because it is a very talented freshman class, but they haven't gotten a ton of minutes early. As the miss from the wing by Hankerson gives Michigan State the basketball. But that's the good news of having these juniors. 2 of them connecting there as Winston finds Ward.
Yeah, these next 3 home games, that's when he wants to use this bench a little bit more, at least hopes to. I mean, right now, you're in a game right here where it's all tied up. You're not going to be able to go deeper into your bench.
Green Bay, meanwhile, they played Friday night at Creighton, so they're on short rest. Deep 3, Sandy Cohen. And a technical foul was just assessed on Cohen for taunting. So he said something to somebody on the side of Michigan State, and he got teed up quickly.
Yeah, they weren't messing around. Let's watch here if we can. We're not going to be able to read his lips, but right after he buries it, it did look like he turned toward the bench, but obviously I couldn't hear anything. Link Darner not happy with that call.
Yeah, frustrated Link Darner in his 4th year as the head man at Green Bay.
Because when you're a team like Green Bay, your margin for error in a game like this against Michigan State is so thin. You can't give away free points. All right, let's watch here. Buries the 3. Now he turned to Tom Izzo. Now that's his reaction after getting called for it.
Yeah, you're right. He turned to Izzo. Don't know if he said something. I assume he had to have said something.
It looked like Izzo responded, though. I mean, in terms of not taking too kindly to whatever was said, maybe. At least we could see the expression. I can't tell if he actually said anything.
Look, Sandy Cohen's a good player. He was a starter at Marquette before he transferred. I wouldn't want to make Tom Izzo upset, though. Winston, they don't stop him, but he misses it. And then a foul inside is going to go against Green Bay.
Green Bay foul on 33, Cody Schwartz, his second personal.
Link Darner, the head coach that we showed a moment ago, there he is. He led him to the NCAA tournament his first season. And that was on the heels of winning the Division II national championship at Florida Southern with the Moccasins.
Yeah, so he went through the sort of the lower level of basketball to climb his way back up to this level. Played at Purdue under the legendary Gene Cady. Has been in this building. He thought he was here the first year the Breslin Center opened. There's also a little bit of a lure.
Man, Sandy Cohen,
he's all over the place.
He is hitting some tough shots, and they just stopped play again. Essentially looked at Sandy Cohen and Tillman and said, hey, no more jawing.
Let's see if we can pick it up here. I'll finish my thought here in a second.
Izzo saying, oh, even that's going in tonight?
So Link claims that he had the first ever 5-point play in this building. A 3 and then fouled after it. Whether it's true or not, fake news or not, he claims
He was 2-2 in this building as a player at Purdue, as you said, under Gene Cady. Arns fell hard in the backcourt, so it's a 5-on-4. McLeod takes advantage. And they've hit 4 3-pointers.
And this is what they want to do. Push, push, push. If you've got a good shot, take it. Don't wait.
And that's speeding Michigan State up, and Langford says, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so Green Bay doesn't mind this being a high possession game.
Well, both teams average 85 a game. I mentioned Green Bay does, but Michigan State does as well. That's going to be a foul on Cassius Winston. The first foul on Tom Izzo's Michigan State Spartans tonight. Although Michigan State did have a season-low 63 in that win at Florida, that was a good thing, Tom Izzo said. Hey, we won without scoring 80 to 90 points.
Well, and
on the road.
Yeah, and also Florida does sort of play low possessions, and a lot of their scores are in those 60s and 70s.
It's good to see that they could mix it up and win on the road with that lower total. Here, though, it looks like we're set up for a 100-point game. Langford again? No. Foul inside, though, is going to be against Green Bay. So the fouls are a little askew. 5 on the Phoenix, just 1 on the Spartans.
You're going to see a lot of Matt McQuaid in a variety of different ways. I mean, he is the ultimate glue guy for Michigan State. Does a little bit of everything. Think a little Andre Hudson, Kelvin Torbert, Matt Trannon, players like that who have played for Tom Izzo.
That's going to be a travel. Langford switched his pivot foot before putting it on the deck.
Not the same kind of player, but guys that just do a little bit of everything for them.
Well, they're certainly happy to have McQuaid back. He had that thigh bruise against Texas, missed the next 3. A little winded against Florida in 18 minutes, he said, but now he feels like he's back to game shape.
You know, that Texas game, I was there in Vegas. That sort of symbolizes this Michigan State team where they looked awful in one half and then looked great in the second.
They haven't looked that great here in this first half. Down 4 right now as Arns has it knocked out of bounds.
Well, they've been more of a second half team already this season.
And the turnovers that Tom Izzo has been talking about a lot lately, a lot of them have occurred in the first half. In fact, 3 of their last 5 games, they've had 11 or more turnovers in the first 20 minutes. But tonight, it's just Green Bay hitting a lot of shots, 10 of 15 from the floor.
You know, against Creighton, they were 5 of 22 on threes.
Inside, nice move. Well, that's the man you talked about, Matt McQuaid.
Let's get these guys pumped up.
Yeah, 5 of 22, as you said, was Green Bay from outside in that loss against Creighton. Although it was close until late when Creighton pulled away. Up ahead, catching. Goins had it stripped. But Michigan State able to keep it. Goins, offensive. Well, those are the kinds of possessions that Tom Izzo is so frustrated about. That's 4 turnovers now.
You can just read it. You don't need to be some body language expert to see that he's frustrated with their offensive production here early, decision making.
Yeah, that look sort of says it all. Although we've only played 8 minutes here.
And Bell drawing that charge. That's exactly what he does for Link. He's not a great shooter. They want him to be much more of a defensive player that's going to draw a charge like that.
Michigan State foul on 11. Aaron Henry, his first personal 13th foul on the Spartans.
It's now 3 fouls on Michigan State, first on Henry. With 12:04 remaining in this opening half. Here's Cohen. He has 9 already. McNair, he averages 12 a game, not there. It's rejected by Ward. Goins looking inside. Aaron Henry. He's been getting the most minutes of the freshman. First freshman off the bench, but misses the 5-footer.
Ward didn't touch the ball in the post in that possession.
And they need to play through him. That's the second foul on Aaron Henry. Cohen has been the man for Green Bay. He already has 9. Everything's falling. Even a kiss off the glass, and Tom Izzo is saying, come on, guys, pick it up. There is evidence that Link Garner indeed played for Gene Cady at Purdue. He was actually the captain of the '94 team that went to the Elite 8.
Yeah, this is the era of Matt Painter, Conzo Martin, Glenn Robinson. And, you know, I asked him about, your teams don't play as physical, obviously, as the teams that you played with. Now, with Glenn Robinson, obviously, they could get up and down a physical score. So I said, what changed? When did you tweak your system? And actually, he said he got it from Ashland, some school that is very, very successful women's basketball. And, he was there and he saw the way they played. He wanted to tweak his style and create his own unique style. And that's what we're seeing here in Green Bay. It was successful in Division II, and he's now transferred that to the Horizon League.
Incredibly successful at Florida Southern, as you're alluding to. They put up almost 100 points a game the year that they won the Division II title 5 seasons ago. So that's his identity. It's worked so far tonight, up 2 here in enemy territory. Pipes trying to hit his second 3, but he airballs it.
Yeah, Purdue back in the day did not full court press. They didn't trap as much. And that's what Link wants to do with these Phoenix.
They come in 6-5 with that loss that we mentioned Friday against Creighton. They scored a season-low 65 points in that game. You noted their struggles from outside the arc against the Blue Jays. Cassius Winston was trying to get it inside to Goins, but he couldn't. Defense was there by McNair. 5 to shoot. And he gets bumped, bailed out. Josh McNair fouled him 35 feet from the hoop.
That's his first personal 6th team foul.
But that just shows how much Michigan State's having a hard time getting into their offense. I mean, they run a slew of plays, and that was one thing Blake told me too. Like, to prepare for Michigan State on short prep, they just run so many plays. It's difficult for a team to do that.
Here's a set play for the shooting McQuaid. And he has 10.
When he was watching the Rutgers games, he told me that he saw the game from a different perspective. He says when you're playing or you're on the bench, you're locking in on who you're going against, and you focus all on that. You could see it sort of from 30,000 feet when he was watching on television.
Yeah, a chance for him to analyze it differently. And he's having a big impact here tonight. His teammate Goins off the mark. Look who's inside the Ward. And he misses it, but he'll head to the line for two. Let's go back to that McQuaid bucket.
Right, catch and ready. Hitting the bottom of the net. And Winston just feeds him. It's all in one motion and finishes it.
He mentioned that he's been roommates with Kyle Arns since his freshman year. They're really, really good friends. And during his injury, Arns stepped into the lineup for him and really performed admirably. He was happy to see that. Arns getting a breather right now.
I mean, speaking of injuries, I mean, Arns has been battling it throughout the course of his career.
Yeah, all those guys, Arns, McQuaid, and then Goins.
Yep.
Man, it has been an injury-riddled career for all three guys. 6-0 run right now for Michigan State.
Sandy Cohen started hot. Let's see if he can continue it.
Well, you knew he was going to shoot that, but he misses it off the heel. And the pass a little too far in front of McQuaid. A turnover by Winston. Frustrated. That's 6 turnovers now.
In Michigan State, you know, sometimes people have this misperception. They've always been able to run, and they want to run.
And it's been effective this year because they've shared the ball so well. They're averaging over 19 assists a game.
This will be interesting here now. The Phoenix having to go straight in a half court.
And Cohen off the glass, no. That would have put him in double figures.
I mean, that was a good look. It just didn't drop.
Cassius Winston. Crafty inside, and then he feeds Ward. And Ward powers it up and in.
Nice little spin move underneath.
So an 8-0 run now for Michigan State. They're starting to get their sea legs a bit. That's a good block by Tillman.
And the combination of Tillman and Ward inside, so difficult for the Phoenix to try to get to the rim.
The bucket here, Link Darner might need a timeout. McQuaid driving, dropping it off. Easy lay-in for Ward. And a timeout indeed by Link Darner. It's a 10-0 Michigan State run. The Spartans starting to find their way. Winston doing his thing. Ward, like he always does, finishing strong around the basket. Men's basketball on BTN is presented by Jeep. Hurry in for great deals at the Jeep Big Finish sales event. And brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Young and old enjoying the game here at the Breslin Center. 10-0 run for the Spartans, and they lead it 30-24. Cassius Winston in the season of giving, already 5 assists tonight. You see what he's done on the season.
Yeah, he's having a great season in terms of his assist-to-turnover ratio, his leadership. And it's interesting, here's a player that Izzo wasn't sure it would come as far as he has already. He didn't know he was as good a shooter. That's something he told me, that he was a little surprised how good a shooter he was, because he didn't see that as much when he was in high school. He could be a playmaker, a distributor, but the shooting aspect has certainly blossomed even more over the last couple of years.
I think it surprised everybody last year. He shot 50% from outside the arc. This year he's at 40% from deep. Green Bay's offense struggling, and they're going late in the shot clock here. Desperation. Patterson has it.
That was almost all ball face plant right there. Face back in the face.
Well, they haven't scored in 5 minutes, the Phoenix. Here's assist number 6. Winston, a beautiful feed. Ward with a flush.
Using the bounce pass. Fundamentals.
Ward has the last 6 points for the Spartans, make it a 12-0 run. There is Cohen, but he misses the reverse.
Great look. Just couldn't finish.
Cohen started out hot, since cold, and that's going to be a push-off on Langford. We got to go back to that assist. Let's make this the State Farm assist of the game.
Why not? Look at that. A little side bounce pass. One more time. That is just easy feeding for Nick Ward.
And the big fella treating the rim like a jungle gym. He has 11 already. So now the question, Green Bay, can they weather this storm? They had the early lead. Now all of a sudden they find themselves down 8. Off-balance shot, Hemphill. Boy, the defense has ratcheted up for the Spartans, and this is another feed inside. Cohen blocked it, but he also is going to get called for the foul.
But there's pride in that defensive play right there. I mean, Cohen did not want Ward to just flush on the Phoenix. And that's also a play from a player who has played at a higher level. You know, Zed Marquette in the Big East. You're not going to let guys just dunk on you if you have a chance to obviously do something about it.
Yeah, he blocked that with his elbow. You're right. There was a lot of frustration in that effort from Cohen.
But I think that's needed.
Yeah.
To say, look, we're not just going to lay down here. Okay, you got a little run here. We know you're bigger than us.
And again at Marquette, it's not like he's one of these transfers that sat on the bench. He was a starter there.
Oh, he clearly can be, this season, the best player, one of the best players in the Horizon League.
Up top, and the cold streak continues. Another miss from Green Bay. Winston make it a 16-0 run, and he'll head to the line to try to make it 17-0.
Got to be the headband. He only wears it for the games, not in practice.
That's his trademark.
Yeah, I know. We'll shake and bake. And finish. I mean, just almost like a total clear out. Had his man beat off the dribble. Can't convert the three-point play.
The ball actually came out of his hand. It was on his fingertips as he flipped that up.
Cohen trying to do too much here.
And then, nifty effort trying to flip it up ahead, but it ends up back with Cohen, and he finger rolls it home.
We'll stay with the play.
Winston, he was being held the whole way. No foul called, but the bucket is good.
He's almost being guided toward the basket.
Pipes had his arm draped around his back, and when Winston gets the ball in the backcourt, he is going coast to coast. The message is clear tonight to beat that Green Bay defense. Good bucket there by Cameron Hankerson. Up ahead, Ward. Speaking of beating that defense, that's just too easy. And Link Garner's going to take a timeout. He is frustrated.
For every basket they may get, they give away a bunch in a row.
So while they take that timeout, now let's take a look at this message from ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire and the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference.
Hiring delays were causing work to pile up. That's not smart. But you know what is smart? Using ZipRecruiter. They find people with the right skills, education, and experience for my job and actively invite them to apply. So I got qualified candidates fast. No wonder ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S.
ZipRecruiter, official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Big Ten.
Well, continuing that talk of Cassius Winston, tell me about some great point guards here, Andy.
Yeah, we were researching this afternoon. Just compare him as a junior to other illustrious point guards over the last 20 years, and you see his numbers. Clearly, he's on track to having maybe the best junior season we've seen in almost 2 decades here at Michigan State.
And that's some pretty good company with those names that were up there on the screen.
Obviously, all those point guards played for Tom Izzo. We didn't go back to a famous junior here.
Yeah, you kept it in the last 24 years.
He was here as junior, right?
Yeah.
I'm not dating myself on Magic.
No, you're not.
It's 3, right?
And you and I are the same age, right?
I'm a little older.
But those are some players that, gosh, I enjoyed watching growing up before my time here with the network, and now getting to watch Cassius Winston courtside is something special.
I thought you just said you grew up watching Cassius Winston.
No. I'm still growing up. Tonight, this is me growing up watching him perform. 7 assists, 1 turnover.
I did see Mateen Cleaves earlier. I said, boy, you're getting gray.
Late in the shot clock, Hankerson, he just had to air ball. What a difference the first 5 minutes defensively for Michigan State to these last 10 minutes.
Well, they're getting back. I mean, that was one of the key things that Michigan State had to do, which was get back on transition. And we saw Sandy Cohen running past everyone in the first couple of possessions. And now that Green Bay has to get deeper into the shot clock, they're having a lot of problems.
You saw the graphic there, but they started 6 of 9 from the floor. Now they're 6 of their last 21. Here's McQuaid. The ball goes out. Arns putting his body in harm's way. It'll belong to Green Bay.
Love the effort, but Michigan State has to wince anytime Arns goes flying, just because he's been so banged up in his career.
But this is how he plays. He only knows one speed.
No, you can't tell him not to do this.
Off the bench, Schwartz, as Link Darner's getting in some guys, Christ and Schwartz, that don't see a ton of time, but he will go 12 deep with that bench.
You know, Foster Loyer's in right now, and he's one of the players that Izzo was telling me is basically, because of the scheduling, wasn't able to get the kind of minutes he wanted to get him. But they've had so many big-time games.
He almost had an assist there, but Arns missed. Goins getting an offensive rebound. Here is Foster Loyer, and it's blocked. How about a second try? And he's fouled. Decided to utilize the shot fake. He'll head to the line.
They want Loyer to adjust to the physicality of playing at this level. And so they need him to get some reps in some physical games, or at least some games where he's going to be going up against potentially comparable players in the Big Ten. And what I loved about that was that Goins gave him the ball right back. Because was that Tillman or Goins?
No, it was Goins.
Those Goins, okay.
Well, Goins saved it, and then he had the kick out. Yeah.
Because he gets a shot blocked.
Yep.
And then they've got the confidence go right back to him. Because you need that. You need to build that back up for him.
And a heady play on the shot fake, getting to the line and knocking down both free throws. Yeah, not playing against Florida last game. That's the first time all year he hasn't been in a ball game. Here he's defending Christ. As the lead is up to 14 for Michigan State. Bell. Loyer, smallest guy on the floor, going up for the rebound. And he'll head back to the free throw line.
And there's Matt McQuaid giving a little shove, playful shove, an encouraging shove. And Arns going over to give him a slap on the butt, you know, just saying, come on, good game, keep it up.
Well, it'll be interesting as Big Ten play progresses to see his minutes, because obviously Cassius Winston's going to be out there over 30 a game.
Yes.
Matt McQuaid can play the point, but where does Foster Loyer fit into the backup point guard role?
Well, and you need to build the depth. I mean, this is the kind of thing that, you know, was hurting Gonzaga yesterday against North Carolina, because Gino Crandall is out, so Josh Perkins had to play too many minutes. There would be games coming up in the Big Ten where you don't want Cassius Winston to play too many minutes, get winded. You need him to have someone to come in off the bench and spell him. And if it ends up being Loyer for a few minutes, they'll take it.
Yeah, Loyer, part of that freshman class that we were discussing a little bit ago, where Aaron Henry has seen the most minutes. Gabe Brown has also checked in, one of those freshmen for the first time for Tom Izzo. So he's getting those young guys some action, as you noted, Andy, that they really haven't seen as of late.
The Browns put on a lot of size, came in around 193. They think he could get well over 200.
He's number 13 in white. Here's a turnover. Winston. He'll stop and pop. Get it out. Langford chases it down. Good kick out. Here is Gabe Brown. He's got the distance.
A sweet stroke for Gabe Brown.
And another timeout for Link Darner.
And, of course, who sets it all up? Cassius Winston. A little side bounce pass to Ward. And here's Winston looking for the opening. I'll take it myself. Spartans up big.
Stay on BT, and here up Youngstown State visiting the Buckeyes. And then Western Carolina goes to Iowa, 7 and 9 Eastern.
And you got to look at Tyler Cook there from Iowa, who I think could be in the Player of the Year discussion. If he keeps it up, Iowa will be a factor in this Big Ten race.
He's fun to watch. You and I had them against Iowa State.
Were you there?
Boy, they're all running together.
I was trying to pull a Bill Walton on you. I was sitting next to you.
If I was there and you were there, I hope I would remember that, or we got real problems. Michigan State, by the way, 16 field goals, 14 assists. So that point we were talking about earlier. Such good ball movement. High arcing shot, and somehow that goes in for Jaquan McLeod.
And a foul.
Yeah, Ward hit him on the arm.
Tom is frozen.
I think if you're Tom Izzo, you live with that.
Well, I'll tell you, Green Bay getting this shot, as you'll see here, so quick into the possession. What, 21 seconds? That's probably their best bet. The longer it goes into the possession, the harder it's going to be for them to get any kind of action inside against Michigan State.
McLeod completes the three-point play. As Hemphill checks back in. 47-31 for Tom Izzo's crew right now with 3.5 to go.
No Izzone, so a little quieter today.
They got the alumni sitting over there.
Alumni band.
Alumni band, yeah. Nice rendition of the national anthem by the alumni band before the game.
It feels like a Sunday evening.
Yeah. Wing three, Brown. Oh, he's hit 2 of them off the bench.
Boy, if he can get going, what a plus that would be off the bench.
As he comes in with 17 points on the season, he has 6 here early. And on the other side, Cody Schwartz. That's all Schwartz does. 70% of his shots are from outside the arc. By the way, when the bucket went down by Brown, it was the 8th assist already by Cassius Winston. Here Winston going with offense. And he'll head to the line, foul on P.J. Pipes.
Let's take a look again at the Gabe Brown three-pointer. What he's figuring out right now is when to take a shot. And this is a great example. He was open, he was shot ready. Winston's got the confidence in him to feed him, and he buries him. And you do that, you get a nice little hug from Tom Izzo on the side, encouragement, and you'll get back in the game.
Yep. And it is a maturation process for those freshmen. Those are some good minutes for Gabe Brown. Teammates love it.
This Michigan State team could end up being the deepest in the Big Ten this season. All these freshmen develop. I'm not saying he's going to play 9 or 10, but could have the option to do so.
Yeah, Thomas Kithier, another one that we have not seen tonight. Up ahead, and Langford just lost it out of bounds.
It's Green Bay basketball.
Coming up, State Farm halftime report. Dave Revson and Sean Morris. They'll break down the first half and have scores and highlights from around the Big Ten. Stay tuned for that. Right now, Michigan State on pace for about 110 points. There's a bump in the lane as Hemphill was driving.
I wonder if Sean will agree with me. You think he'll agree with me?
I don't think Sean's ever disagreed with you, has
No,
he?
he has not. But I think Sean will agree with me that they have the chance to be the deepest team. I'm not saying the best team,
Right.
but they actually could be the best team. Right now, Michigan's the best team. They could be the best team and the deepest team by the end of the Big Ten season.
You know, there have been a lot of great...
I'll hang up and listen, Sean.
There have been a lot of great Michigan State games over the years, obviously. I think this year it could really be special when those two teams get together.
There are 2 teams that can win the national championship out of this conference. Michigan State. Indiana, Wisconsin, Maryland, Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State.
Up top for Nick Ward. He has 17. He interrupted your thought, too.
No,
That
that's
was
saying
rude.
they're all going to be in the mix for bids, decent seeds, but I think the 2 at the top, the 2 Michigans, can compete for the title.
Good block on the other end by Ward. He's running the floor. Back to him. Wow, 2 more for Nick Ward. He can go to the line and hit the free throw to have 20 points in the first half. Man, and in the previous bucket, a BTN standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance.
The feed from Langford. Knows the trailer. Nick Ward is right there. Look how happy he is. And the fact that he's been able to improve his body, to get up and down, and to convert like that, that's been something that Tom has been thrilled with, because he's the first to say that he took the brunt of a lot of his wrath early in his career. He used the word to me, stubborn, this afternoon. And now, you know, they're best of buds.
Yeah, it really has been a breakthrough for those two this year in their relationship. His season high is 26. He has 20, and now he has 22.
Henry with a nice feed there. Henry's momentum took him almost out of bounds. It had the presence of mind to dish it to Ward.
59 points already, and we still have 50 seconds to go in the half.
Remember when Tom looked a little frustrated earlier?
Yeah, early on it was Green Bay with a 24-20 lead, and things have changed since then. We got to go back to that alley-oop to Ward, though. We haven't shown that yet.
Just tossing it up from Langford. Langford knows where Ward is. You better know where he is.
And you mentioned Langford's distribution. He has 4 assists tonight. Everybody has some assists tonight.
Well, that's the beauty of the development of this roster right now. Langford doesn't feel like he has to be a scorer every night.
Yeah, he averages the team best 16.7, but you're right. It has been distributed evenly as this year has gone.
I'll tell you what I love about Langford. He's got such great presence. You know, I saw him in Vegas, Indianapolis, here. Very respectful, coming up, saying hello. The maturity level, you can see how it's developed over the last couple of years.
And now his Spartans can hold for the final shot and try to get to 60 points in the first half. Winston. Oh, that was nice. That's silly. And then the steal. No way! No way!
Walk off.
Xavier Tillman with a 3, and Michigan State hangs 64 points in the first half against Green Bay.
What a flip from the first couple of minutes. And Tom Izzo just walks up, shrugged his shoulders.
Let's
How
see
about
this
that?
again.
So Winston converts. Tillman knows the time on the clock. Buries 3, and I'll just take a little stroll to the locker room.
Some high fives as he goes. Now they're verifying that it was a 3-pointer. It looks like it will stand, and Michigan State will end the half on a 12-0 run. But Andy, remember, Green Bay led 24-20 in this game.
You remember Sandy Cohen? Do you remember him?
I do. Haven't heard his
early.
name in a while.
He played early in this game.
And it is good. Wow. And that will be the end of the first half. A dominating first half after a slow start by Michigan State. They put up 64 points. Coming up from Chicago, Dave Repson and Sean Morris. They'll have scores and highlights on the State Farm halftime report. Stay tuned. Time at the Breslin Center. Well, first half was all about Michigan State, 64-35, although it didn't start out that way. Green Bay got up 24-20, and then Michigan State just took off.
Yeah, they did. Certainly, there was no question that the whole script flipped. Sandy Cohen jawing, getting a technical, and that certainly changed the direction for Sandy Cohen's first half, because he only scored 2 points of 2 of his 11 in the final 11 minutes. So Simon says that if Green Bay is going to come back, Sandy Cohen better get hot here at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, he was 4 of 4, and then one of his final 5 shots.
Simon says, shoot.
Nick Ward, 22 points in that first half. His career high is 26. And if you're wondering, when's the last time Michigan State scored this many points in a half? Well, they did have 63 in December of last year against Cleveland State. Well, there's a good start to the second half. Cameron Hankerson knocks it down. Green Bay's going to need a lot more of those. It was how that first half ended with the bucket and then the steal and the 3 by Tillman in the corner. And here's a 3 by Cassius Winston.
Doesn't always have to be the distributor. And that's the kind of shooting that Izzo didn't know that he could do when he first arrived.
Yeah, McQuaid there
really
got up in the air. And he came down on hip hill. Thankfully, everybody's okay. Here's the 3-point shooting you're talking about.
Well, and the screen by Ward, I mean, that's a brick wall that you cannot get around. And so Winston had a clear view. of the basket. You know, before that, we saw that bucket by Hankerson. He's been all over the map, and Link told me this afternoon, Link Garner, that if they're going to be successful in the Horizon, they need Hankerson to be consistent.
So far, 6 points a game for them. They like him in double figures, though. Battling for the rebound. Goins pulls it out of there. And here's Ward running the floor. Another easy flush.
No one is going to get in his way when he is going full throttle down the middle of the lane.
Can you imagine trying to take a charge on a play like that?
No.
Him going at that speed. Here's Hankerson again, this time no.
Wide left.
And then Langford. And being held in the post was Ward, the foul on Patterson.
Here's Winston. Nice little bounce pass to the trailer.
Green Bay foul on 15, Patterson. His second personal, first team foul.
Nick Ward is now 10 of 10 from the floor, but pretty easy when you get looks like that.
That was the Matador defense because he was getting waved in.
Well, we said it at the beginning, Andy. Green Bay, they can score, but the problems for them are on the defensive end, and we've seen that tonight. Langford, that's a tough shot. Still goes in.
He's had a lot of games where, you know, he becomes a second-half player. The Texas game I did. I think he had 26 in the second half after maybe only 3.
His season started out that way against Kansas. He really ignited a run in the second half. They almost came back to win that game. Only 2 losses on the season for the Spartans.
So Hankerson scoring, I mean, not just today, but I mean, if Green Bay can get a 1-2 punch of Cohen and Hankerson, well, then they have a shot.
And here they're getting a steal. Cohen comes up with it off the deflection by Hemphill. Cohen lobs it up, and then the block by Goins, and he saved it to Winston. Goins, the ultimate glue guy, and it leads to Langford missing a 3, and then McQuaid got hit. Foul by Hankerson.
Green Bay foul on 21, Hankerson. That's his first, second team foul.
Great read by Goins to deflect it. Good body control. Getting it to the lead guard, Winston, whose head is always up, looking for that pass ahead.
7 blocks already in this game for Michigan State. 4 of them by Nick Ward. Langford has 7, looking for double digits. Now that's going to be a 2. Foot was on the line. Give him 9.
The difference with Langford now is he knows when to take the shot. Much more selective.
Last year, under 12 points a game. This year, he hasn't had a game under 13 points. That was against Florida, his season low.
But early in the first half, even though he had 4 turnovers, he was getting, or at least attempting to get everyone involved, and now he's being a little bit more assertive and being a little bit more selfish, which is okay.
Team foul on the Spartans. Checking back in for Green Bay is 2, P.J. Pipes.
Pipes back into the game for Green Bay. Right now, Green Bay down by 33 after the hot start. Cohen, just a bad miss.
Well, he got tripped up a little on his own feet, so he kind of hit that at a bad angle.
It's been a tough stretch for him after that hot start. Goins with a miss, rebound, pulled out of there by the Phoenix. Here's Cohen again. And we're going to get a whistle inside.
Well, when he picked up that technical, I mean, he was feeling it. There were a lot of heat checks. And what happened was, he hits the shot, and as I went over and chatted with those at the scorer's table, he basically jawed at Winston. The officials certainly interpreted that he was jawing at the bench. Regardless, taunting either way, whether it's the player on the floor or the bench, and the officials are right there, they're going to call it, and they did.
That's a good point, Andy. Since that technical, things have really switched in this game. It's almost like inadvertently he lit a fire under Michigan State's behind. A couple quick fouls here. The first one was on Ward. The last one was on Langford.
One of the
quietest games I've ever heard at the President's Center.
Well, again, the students after finals, they're on break. Inside, Patterson off the window. A little quiet, though, because they're feeling comfortable with that 31-point advantage. And things get a little chippy. This is another foul. This time on Patterson. He and Ward have kind of been going back and forth.
Well, there's no reason for, obviously, Michigan State to be chippy. So I'd be surprised if they ended up being chippy.
Tom Izzo takes Nick Ward out for this spell, brings back Xavier Tillman. Maybe that's a conversation right now. Calm down a little bit. Langford stepping through, kicking out. Winston. Michigan State 7 of 17 from outside the arc tonight. Good move, good finish by Patterson.
He's their most physical inside player. With Ward out, he's going to try to take advantage of that.
Up ahead, Cohen. Now that was disrupted again, but he's having trouble finishing. Langford, no trouble for him on the other side.
I mean, Cohen's a completely different player.
He really is.
The first 4 minutes.
And he's now 5 of 13 from the floor. Remember, he started 4 of 4. And he's their leader in everything. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, minutes played. McQuaid almost had a steal. And Pipes got pushed to the ground. That will take us to the under-16 media timeout. 75-44, the lead before the game. Take a look at this footage there. Experimenting, making sure that the rims are balanced. They were a little off. Well, they fixed the rims, at least for Michigan State, because everything's been coming pretty easy on the offensive side. Izzo hired back in 1995, 21 straight NCAA tournaments. That's consistency.
And look at the staff. Wayne Stevens, 16 years. Mike Garland, 19. Dane Fife, 8. You know, it's interesting with Fife. He was the coach at Fort Wayne. And he clearly, well, all these guys, you know, certainly could get head coaching jobs. But there's something to be said that, you know, what's a better gig? Is it better to be a head coach at a lower level, a low D1, or stay and be a top assistant at a program where you've got a Hall of Fame coach, you're going to win every year, you're going to be in the tournament, compete for national championship, you're going to get paid well. Sometimes it's not a bad gig.
And there's still stress, don't get me wrong, but you don't have the stress of being the head man, right?
Yes. I mean, the fact that you don't have to make all the decisions, you don't have to meet with people like us in the media all the time. You know, you can sort of just do your job. And great guys, and it's been a great staff.
Yeah, the results have obviously been evident through the years. Tom Izzo's taking Michigan State to 7 Final Fours, the last being in 2015. And as you said, you think Michigan State and Michigan, the 2 top teams with a chance to make a run in the tournament this year. At least in the Big Ten, that is.
I say run to the title. I think there are multiple Big Ten teams that can get to the second weekend. Multiple.
Here's a turnover up ahead. P.J. Pipes feeding inside. Another block. Tillman this time. Well, you mentioned Indiana, their win yesterday over Butler. They're getting better. Romeo Langford's getting more comfortable. And Cassius Winston has been comfortable all night. His 8th double-double of his career, 3rd of the season.
Maybe you should wear the headband in practice, too.
No, see, I like that it's just the game. That's his thing. His last shot.
Checking back in for Michigan State.
Just perfectly positioned along the perimeter.
He replaces Kenny Moran.
You notice, you mentioned Michigan, and obviously they're always big on fundamentals with John Beilein. But here at Michigan State, everyone is shot ready. Ball comes to you, you're ready to go. You're either a triple threat or you're ready to pop it.
That has been the case all night. 78 points already. Still 14.5 minutes remaining. Bad pass here and over the head of Hemphill.
Well, Green Bay may have to take some chances here. Picking up a list, you know, here at half court.
but they're going to have to, obviously, if they want any chance of at least getting it to be a little bit more interesting, they're going to have to take some gambles defensively.
That pass, so a turnover for a turnover. That's the 11th Spartan turnover. And another block. Swatted out of bounds by Tillman. 9 blocks for Michigan State tonight.
But that's okay if you're going to just continue to attack the glass.
And 13 Bell.
You've got a slew of Spartans there collapsing. Arns, Tillman, trailers.
Everything has been contested. Hankerson. Up top to Bell. He's seen limited minutes tonight. Trevion Bell.
It's interesting, during shoot-around, they really were working on trapping the shooters, extending their defense, trying to cause some havoc, and we have not seen that here in the second half. Now, Michigan State's not allowing them to really get into their defense because they're just pushing it so quickly.
Yeah, the only good number right now for Green Bay is that they're +5 in turnovers, but I don't think that Link Darner really cares when you're down 32 on the big board. Winston thought about it. Inside, Ward has not missed a shot. He's 10 of 10 from the floor.
That's a mismatch.
Well, he's 11 of 11 from the floor. That was a big mismatch. You're right, Andy.
Yeah, Pipes had no chance.
Well, against Iowa, he was 10 of 10 from the floor. Whew. Banking it in, Trevion Bell.
Going to the bank on a Sunday.
How about that? Late on a Sunday and then a timeout afterwards. But to finish the point, Ward was 10 of 10 against Iowa, 26 points. He's 11 of 11 tonight, and he has 26 already, tying his career high. Men's basketball on BTN is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. A lot of different costumes today at the Breslin Center. But the man who is Superman tonight is Nick Ward.
Well, he hasn't missed yet. He's 11 for 11 for 26 points. And how are you going to stop him inside, compete, and getting fed like that? And, you know, Tom was telling me he's sort of a poor man's, you know, Zach Randolph, but he's saying that in a complimentary way. But the biggest difference is the lower body.
Yeah.
He's got the upper body strength, but what he needs to continue to work on are the legs, being able to anchor himself inside, and to be able to withstand sort of, you know, strength versus strength if he's going to play at that next level.
Trying to get it to him in the post here. Will be interesting to see at that next level. He's got some time. We know he tested the waters as Lawyer comes off the bench and misses the shot.
But, you know, he came back and told Izzo that, you know, I learned that that's what I got to work on. I got to work on my body. I got to be in better conditioning. And from the end of that combine in mid-May through the summer, he was in the gym constantly trying to improve himself, and clearly we're seeing it statistically. And if he can continue to build strength in that lower body and anchor down inside, he's going to make some money.
And you noted in the first half, it's helped the personal relationship of he and Tom Izzo, and that's an important thing.
Oh, yeah, they were oil and water for the first couple of years here.
Foul on P.J. Pipes trying to tangle inside. Big mismatch. And there's another teaching moment. Really fun to see. You know, you think of all the guys that Tom Izzo's developed over the years, and it's been fun to see that transformation this year for Nick Ward. It's still a long way to go. Set play, and that was blocked out of bounds, or not out of bounds, into the hands of Pipes off the shot from Arns. And then Pipes kicks it out to Cohen. Cohen's still trying to get going here. And he's bumped by Henry. That'll take us to the under 12 timeout. Michigan State cruising behind Nick Ward. So everybody in the Big Ten played a couple of conference games in early December. These are the remaining unbeatens.
So this is the new norm. Every early December, now with 20 league games. They did it last year because of the pushed-up schedule with the Big Ten tournament being in New York. You play 2 in early December, then you're going to reset at the beginning of January. So these are the top teams right now that are 2-0, and it means so much because when you get back into the Big Ten, as Northwestern is going to find out, because they lost 2 very close games, and their first 2 road games, not back-to-back, but first 2 road games when it resets here in a couple weeks, are at Michigan State. So potentially you could have 4 losses in the first couple of weeks of the Big Ten season. When you get that 2-0 start, you get a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah, huge leg up. Hankerson late in the shot clock with a mid-range jumper. And Michigan State with the wins over Rutgers and Iowa to get to 2-0.
I mean, Tom and I talked about this. We love the fact that the league now has these great atmospheres around the Big Ten football championship games. Students are still in session, and you got to do it. The problem for Big Ten teams is that it comes in, and that's a big bucket there for Lawyer, is it comes at a time when you've got Gavitt games, ACC Big Ten Challenge. Wedged in between, you've got the MTE, the Thanksgiving tournament, and then you play your Big Ten games. So it's the compressed schedule that really is a problem for people. But when you got players like Lawyer, they can come and give you depth, maybe it'll be a little easier.
Yeah, Lawyer completing the three-point play. Well, he's had a nice night. 7 points, 5 of them at the free throw line. A ticky-tack foul on Arns. But the good thing for Michigan State is they scheduled so tough, and they won a lot of these games, and that's really going to position them well in March.
Well, and they really could have and should have maybe beaten Louisville. That game just didn't turn in their favor at the end of regulation and overtime. Remember, Matt McQuaid did not play in that game because of the thigh injury that occurred in the game before when they were out in Las Vegas, and I saw him. In the Kansas game, by the way, first half wiped that away. They played better than Kansas, outscored Kansas in the second half. And so that was more of an indication of what we would see going forward with Michigan State. But that's what the Spartans do all the time. They play that kind of gauntlet. The difference is a lot of those games are scheduled for Michigan State. They added the Florida series. That was a home and home. And those kind of games may be in danger with the 20-league schedule going forward.
But the Big Ten, you know, I think like you were saying, a lot of the coaches, they're okay with that, with those extra 2 games. McQuaid missing from the corner. Another rebound for Ward. Powering it up, and that's his first miss from the field tonight.
Well, they're okay with it because it gives you 2 more opportunities. I mean, last season, had Nebraska had 2 more games in the league to help their power ranking, it might have helped them get in.
Might get into the
they had 13
exactly.
wins, but 12 of the 13 were against teams that didn't make the field. Maybe you get 2 more Big Ten games, and you beat one of the teams against the field, and you're in.
Yep, get a couple more quality opportunities.
By the way, that's not going to happen anymore. There's too many good teams. You're not going to beat. You're going to have 12 wins and not have, or 13 wins and not have at least more than 1 against teams in the field.
And there's an offensive foul. Trevion Bell went charging right over Lawyer.
Izzo loves that.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you can earn some time. Let's see the reaction we get from the bench. You walk behind us.
7 points for Lawyer, taking that charge, and for him, it's a young career high. Previous career high was 5 points this season. Langford catch and release from the elbow. He's got 13, Winston 16, Ward 26. The junior class having a nice night. To get back to your point, though, you're right. If you're in the Big Ten this year and you win 12-13 league games, you're going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, not all seasons are created equal, and not all records are either.
Straight to the basket, Matt McQuaid. Nobody stopped him. What do you think is possible this year? I know it's early, but Big Ten as far as teams down the stretch that you think are going to have a shot to go?
Well, I've said this consistently. I think 11 teams in the Big Ten will feel like they have a chance in February. They're not getting an 11.
Right.
To be honest, the one right now that has got a lot of work to do.
There's Cohen, by the way, stepping back up.
He needs more work to do this afternoon or early evening, is Purdue. You know, Purdue, it's a little bit too much Carson Edwards. They've had a lot of opportunities. They just haven't been able to win them, so they're going to have to do a lot of their work now in the Big Ten.
A tough loss yesterday for them in that Crossroads Classic against Notre Dame. And Matt Painter was candid after in the postgame.
He always is.
He just said, look, our guys need to mature. Ward, deep post touch, he's fouled.
Yeah, the team, I mentioned them again, the team I'm really looking forward. I'm not just saying this because Sean's in the studio, but I'm really looking to see how, and Rever too, how Northwestern handles the beginning of the Big Ten. Because the Wildcats, could have been 2-0 against Indiana, Michigan, which would have been 2 monster wins at Indiana home. Michigan, they lost both in the last possession. Then they're down 15 to DePaul and going a 25-0 run. I think Chris Collins has a group that certainly can be in the mix. And the schedule will balance out. I know they have those 2 road games I just mentioned, Michigan, Michigan State, but then the back part might be a little easier for them.
Next on BTN, doubleheader continues. James Palmer, the Huskers that you were talking about, battling Oklahoma State. That game in South Dakota. So stay tuned for that.
Still never been.
What's that? Never been to South Dakota?
One of 2 states.
Oh. What's the other one?
Arkansas.
But you made it to Alaska, huh?
Yes, multiple times.
Left-handed hook by Manny Patterson.
Covered the Great Alaska Shootout when Cincinnati, Melvin Levin, remember that play?
Yes, I do.
Beat Duke.
Nick Ward now has a new career high, 28 points for the big man. What a night it's been. 9 rebounds, 1 away from a double-double. Patterson, he's heating up here in the second half.
Stretches his game a little bit.
He now has 10, and a timeout is going to be taken by Tom Izzo. This night is all about Michigan State's offense, and it's been all about Nick Ward, the junior, with 28 points. The junior class, Sandy, they have been doing it tonight, have they not?
They definitely have. Nick Ward only missing 1 shot this evening. Cassius Winston finding his spot on the floor. And Langford.
Those 3 guys, if my math is correct, for 57 points. Ward with a career-high 28. I see you're doing the math, aren't you?
I know.
You're hoping that I'm wrong. 28 plus 16, carry the 1 for, 57.
So as we were going to break, you had a technical on Nick Ward.
Yes.
For jawing, and Mike Eads coming to talk to us about this because it's a similar thing that happened in the first half with Sandy Cohen. So the officials trying to make sure the chatter is kept to a minimum. So the taunting went back to Patterson. Izzo's not happy about that at all. What are you doing?
You knew this was coming.
We're up almost 30. No need.
But he's still smiling over there on the bench. But yeah, Tom Izzo was not happy. Now Michigan State back with the basketball, that comfortable lead. And first time into the game, Marcus Bingham, one of those freshmen we talked about earlier, gets fouled.
So I'm going to go a little poor man's as well again here. Think poor man's Thon Maker, okay?
You're all over the poor man's.
Well, I'm just don't compare him to Jaren Jackson.
Okay.
Because Jaren Jackson, yes, he was skinny, but he came in and he added weight. You can see that Bingham still needs to add weight. In a perfect world, Michigan State would like to redshirt someone like Bingham. But, they think that they may need him. But you can see the length, the size, the potential. He's very skilled for his size. It just would really benefit him if he could just work on his body for a full year.
Well, they say he's been eating everything in sight and lifting weights. And there was a lane violation. He's going to get another free throw attempt.
Another lane violation.
A quick word from Tom Izzo just saying, calm down, calm down.
Because you never know. There could be a point in the Big Ten season or the NCAA tournament where they may need someone like Bingham. And then suddenly they get in foul trouble.
You mentioned his length. He's got the longest wingspan on the team at 7'4", and he knocks down the free throw.
He's so excited he ran back. He didn't know he had another free throw.
He's smiling about it.
Hey, you got to laugh at yourself.
And they're giving him a warm round of applause, trying to cheer on the freshman.
Being self-deprecating is the best.
And he missed it.
That's all right.
Oh. So the ball back to Green Bay after all of that.
But with his size and reach, if he could be a rim protector for them, almost like a defensive specialist at some point, that'd be great.
And he was pretty adamant early about not wanting to redshirt. You mentioned that he'd love to redshirt a guy like that. He wanted to play.
It is a long season, and unfortunately injuries are a part of a season. We don't know what'll happen. If something happens, they're going to need him to be ready to go in.
Cohen back to the line. He now has 15 points.
But history has shown that so many players improve so much from that freshman to their sophomore year. It's that first full year with the strength and conditioning program, being here all the time, knowing the culture, what's expected.
Xavier Tillman, a prime example of that for Michigan State.
You know, sometimes players with his size and strength get romanticized by, you know, professional and say, oh, you know, I'll just go and leave because I have size. That's the wrong decision, because you want, anytime you leave, you want to make sure you can actually play.
And that's going to be a travel, so things getting a little sloppy. That's the 14th turnover for Michigan State.
And I'm just saying this in general. I'm not saying Bingham's thinking this, but I just want to continue to reinforce. It's never about just getting drafted. That's such a short-term play. It's about whether or not you can play in the NBA and get a second contract. You got to think about your life, your career, not about some short-change money just to get drafted.
Reminder coming up later, the big show at 9 Eastern right here on BTN. Stay tuned for that. But before, we got another basketball game. A lot of action tonight on the network. And here Michigan State creeping towards 100. They had 64 points in the first half. 90 right now. Langford, good pass up top. Winston, patient. And now he's going to take a contested jumper and miss it.
Oklahoma State playing in that game. They like these neutral non-conference games for the Big Ten. They played Minnesota in US Bank Arena, which will be the home of the Final Four.
Yeah, that was kind of a tune-up for the folks putting that event together. What do you think of Minnesota, by the way?
So I had their game earlier this week. Dupree McBrayer obviously was not there, attending the funeral of his mother. But Eric Curry is supposed to be back here soon. When they are whole, I fully expect them to be, you know, in the mix for a, you know, finishing anywhere, I'd say, from 4 to 6.
Yeah, I'm with you. Three-pointer, nice shot that time by McLeod. But with everybody healthy, that's a dangerous team, and one that I don't think enough people are talking about.
Yeah, Daniel Turo, Klauscher. I mean, they've got, you know, really good freshmen. Jordan Murphy's a double-double machine.
Is he ever? That ball is blocked. Langford had it tipped. Still a comfortable lead.
He's playing great right now.
Yeah. Comfortable lead, but the expressions that Tom Izzo has over there on the bench suggest that he's not very happy with his last 4 or 5 minutes. And now crowd booing a little bit at that last call.
That's his second team foul on the Spartans.
Trying to see who Tom's frustrated with.
Yeah. I think it's just in general. It's 11-1 run right now for Green Bay.
At the line for Green Bay.
Last foul on Winston. And that puts Cohen to the line with his 15 points.
I mean, as great as it is that they've put up 90 and will likely go over 100, they've given up 70. And as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, we know that Green Bay wants to play high possession basketball and get it up and down. But I think for Michigan State, you know, this would have been a great learning experience of, okay, this is the way Green Bay wants to play. Let's shut them down. Let's dictate it. Let's keep them under 70.
Haven't been able to do that. Still up 19. More minutes for Foster Loyer running the point. A lot of freshmen out there now. And Arns, the veteran, the redshirt junior from downtown.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see Ward, Winston, and Langford the rest of the game.
As long as they can maintain this lead, you wouldn't think so. Tough basket there by Cohen. He has 19. On the other end, three-pointer drops down for Gabe Brown. He's hit 3 of those tonight, Andy.
This will be a great confidence, 5-minute set here for Brown, possibly Bingham, Loyer.
The 4 freshmen on the floor with Arns. A lineup that certainly you don't see much, but the luxury to do that here tonight. Another shot up, and that one missed. And maybe a little greedy for Gabe Brown.
The veteran players for Michigan State up cheering their younger guys.
So Thomas Kithier, the only one in that 5-man freshman class that we have not seen here. Three-pointer is good. So Cohen is reheating back up. He's got 22.
Bookending the game.
Yeah. And a timeout by Tom Izzo as Green Bay has cut it to 20. Tom Izzo's frustrated with Brown right now in his defense, but his offense has been good. He's knocked down 3 from outside the arc tonight. All right, thank you, Dave. Time for Andy Katz to talk about the Player of the Year race.
Well, in the preseason, I had Carson Edwards, not just Player of the Year in the Big Ten, but nationally. Purdue has struggled. His scoring is up, but turnovers have been an issue. So I'm going to tell you right now, this thing's open. Ethan Happ's put up monster numbers, and Wisconsin's a factor in the race. Juwan Morgan with sort of Batman and Robin, although you could maybe say they're co-equals with Romeo Langford. Josh Langford has had a pretty stellar start. And the surprise member of my Player of the Year race, Iggy Brazdeikis, the Michigan freshman, is making people not forget Mo Wagner, but certainly not missing maybe as much.
And he's the new spark plug. Foster Lawyer from outside the arc. And Thomas Kithier is on the floor now for Tom Izzo as well, so we've seen all 5 of the freshman class. I was going to ask you about Romeo Langford, though, because Juwan Morgan had the big game yesterday, but obviously Langford, he is a fun player to watch.
Well, what's interesting is he hasn't had to be, the main attraction. He certainly had his moments. But unlike a Zion Williamson, who's obviously in his class, and R.J. Barrett, where Duke expected and needed them to be sort of the BMOCs, that's not the case. I mean, Indiana's not where they are if Langford's not having the kind of season he is, but Juwan Morgan is the first option.
Yeah, Langford, some people say he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, but like you're saying, I think that will come with time. Parham from 3, a little long. And this one knocked out. It was tipped off the fingertips of Aaron Henry. By the way, need to send some well wishes to Cooper Frambies. This is the son of one of our own at BT, and Dave Frambies. And Cooper is having surgery tomorrow. He's a baseball player at Illinois State. Cooper, hope everything goes well. Thinking and praying for you throughout the operation and beyond. And certainly to Father Dave and the entire family. Ball back to Michigan State. They are a point away from hitting the century mark for the 3rd time this year.
When we went to break, Izzo feed inside.
There is the century mark.
From Henry to Brown.
What about Izzo?
Well, I was saying, part of the teaching that's going on in these last 4 minutes is on the defensive end. And even though they got a monster lead, he needs these freshmen to make sure they lock in defensively, because when the games matter even more in 2 weeks, if they get on the floor, they're going to stay on the floor if they defend.
Well, you saw some defense right there. The length of Bingham, and then Lawyer disrupting it, and Bingham on the other. No, I just lost it going up.
Probably should have just tried to flush it.
And then he tried to swat that one away from Parham.
Well, he altered it.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't get any contact, but he definitely altered it.
Seeing they're just a little jittery and eager, understandably so, with the 5 freshmen out there. An officials timeout here by Mike Eads. He sees a wet spot on the floor as we take a look ahead at Michigan State's upcoming schedule. Friday here on BT and against Oakland.
Yeah, Greg Campy and the Grizzlies, and then Mark Montgomery, Northern Illinois, which I'll be back here with Kevin Kugler for that game on the 29th after Christmas. Sort of mirror images. Montgomery's going to play the way the Spartans do, and then it gets right into it. In the Big Ten, Northwestern, I've been talking about them. Ohio State on the road. They've been by far the surprise team in the Big Ten for the 2nd season in a row. And then Purdue on January 8th here, and we'll see by then if the supporting cast for Carson Edwards, has been able to step up and buy in a little bit more. And the Boilermakers, can hopefully improve by then and be back to being a bit of... In fact, look, they almost beat Florida State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. That was a great game. They did have the home win over Maryland in the Big Ten.
Hoiberg, step back jumper, and that's off the heel for the son of Fred Hoiberg, now the former Bulls coach.
Yes, where will Fred land?
It's going to be a hot topic of conversation in the next couple of months. There's a push underneath.
I got to believe he's going to be in college.
You've got where?
I think he'll be in college basketball.
Oh, yeah, college basketball. That seems to be what most people think. Don't forget, coming up next, more hoops presented by Jeep, Oklahoma State, Nebraska.
Corey Provis and John Crispin on the call, and Corey's already tweeted out it is a rocking crowd. The Huskers, I wonder if the Husker fans went from Minneapolis last night, where I saw them, 80-90% of that Target Center, where there were 18,000 for the national championship match in volleyball, Nebraska losing to Stanford in 5. Did they just migrate over to South Dakota to watch the Huskers?
Brown exits. He has hit the 3 3-pointers tonight. Now he'll sit for the final 1 minute 40 seconds. As everybody is in off the bench for Tom Izzo. This is Connor George, a walk-on. Brock Washington out there as well, another walk-on. Strong finish by Connor George. He's from the neighborhood, Okemos, Michigan. Comes down to Hoiberg up ahead. Here's George again. Oh, if that would have gone in. And the miss on the follow and then the foul. Washington almost stuck that back in. And we got to give some love to Connor George on that last hoop, though.
Look at that drive. Determination. Takes the contact and finishes it. Bench always loves when the hard-working walk-on can score.
Absolutely. 16 Spartans have played. 9 have scored in this game. Now 10 after that last bucket, and Braden Burke is trying to make it 11 Spartans in the scoring category tonight if he can hit this free throw.
Well, the walk-ons put in a lot of work. A lot of times they're on the scout team.
And you do that to play, 7 or 8 games a year, 2 minutes at a time. And this is one of those moments. There are a lot of benefits. Yes, there are a lot of benefits. 1 minute left. On the other end, Link Darner getting some guys some time. Javon Smith with a basket. Foul by Connor George.
Michigan State foul on 41, Connor George.
Bit of a mismatch here, using his quick first step to his advantage.
At the line for Green
That's
Bay.
a nice move for Smith. Been limited tonight. Does average 12 minutes a game, but getting into the scoring column. So Michigan State will jump up to 9-2. We showed you that they will play next Friday here against Oakland to try to get to 10 wins. 20 to shoot. It will stay with Michigan State.
Historically, Oakland's given Michigan State fits. And they've played games at the Palace down in Auburn Hills. If I'm not mistaken, they may have played in the new Pistons facility.
Here's a 3, and that does not fall for Brock Washington. They have, by the way, played in that facility. 3 on the other end, that is good for TJ Parham, his first basket. Yeah, that'll be a tough test. Greg Campy and company, as you mentioned, he leads the way for the Oakland Grizzlies. One last offensive possession here. Washington. Tough shot, no. But Bell knocked it out of bounds, so it will stay with the Spartans.
So I think Michigan State got a lot out of this game. Got, the bench got to play, build some confidence, especially the freshmen like Brown. I think they'll be able to build a lot off of this. And obviously, Nick Ward, Cassius Winston.
You had all 5 freshmen out there at one time tonight. Washington, one more chance, and that is tipped. He will not get a basket. But Michigan State puts up 64 points in the first half. And they finish with a 104-83 victory over Green Bay to get their 9th win of the season. Tom Izzo, quick word with Link Darner before the 2 walk off the floor. And maybe this is about some of the chippy conversations and technicals that happened earlier in the game, but I promise you nothing but respect between those two men. And Tom Izzo knows Link Darner well from his playing and coaching days. Michigan State, the junior class, led the way. Nick Ward, 28 points, a career high. Also chipped in 9 rebounds, 12 assists for Cassius Winston as the Spartans roll. And that'll do it from the Breslin Center. Coming up, more Big Ten hoops action. Oklahoma State taking on Nebraska. That game in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. For Andy Katz and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin, wishing you a good night from East Lansing. Thanks for watching Basketball on BTN. So long, everybody.